There's ways to get cancer. You're looking cancer right now. Let's say I'm looking cancer.
I'm looking cancer.
You really are. I see that. Questioning chemotherapy, Ralph Moss, MOSS, PhD. Next question, Linda.
I have a customer who has thin blood and is taking vitamin K to thicken it. She wants to know if greens will thin her blood.
Greens will not significantly thin blood. You probably, if you took a whole bottle in one day, you might get some, you wouldn't want to do that. No, I think that certainly, if someone's concerned about that, a half a scoop a day. Normal greens is 2 scoops a day. But if you want to take a half a scoop, I don't know any contraindication to doing that. I wouldn't be worried about trying to do that. It's very rare to be trying to thicken the blood. It's a rare situation in that. Usually people are trying to thin the blood, and the natural way to do that is with fish oil and garlic and greens to a limited degree. Yes, Linda?
I've heard that the wraps help people that have really bad menstrual cycles, but what's the help behind it?
What's the mechanism? How does it work? Wraps helping people with really bad menstrual cycles? I have no idea. But let me say this, and it's funny as it is too. But if you heard the stories that I have heard about wraps, that I can't stand up here and tell you about tumors and growths and arthritis and things that people wrapped and have healed them. I'm just amazed. I wish I could just tell you the truth about wraps. I did tell you a great deal of it, but I didn't tell you the whole truth. You read between the lines? Yeah. So just try it, and let's see what happens. And what's it cost to try it? It's not a big deal. Try it. It can change your life and get your solution. So, next question.
This is kind of a pickup question. We were talking earlier about you can't essentially say you can give children anything, but you give your kids the greens. And then you were talking about like the ADHD, and you would recommend like the vitals and the greens and the confianza. Is that something that you could try for kids at like the lower dosage for ADHD?
Good question. And the answer to that is I can't recommend you give any of our products to children. Why? Because the lawyers make us write what's written on the label. From a doctor's perspective, here's what I can tell you. I can tell you what I do. All my kids, right when they got off a mother's breast, were using greens and vitals. We crush them up. One sucks on a vital, one chews it, and one swallows it. All different ways of getting it in. And they take a little bit of greens. The way I decide on how much to give a child, for me, I'm not telling you to do this, ask your doctor if it's okay. Your doctor doesn't know, almost like this. But technically I have to say that. But the dosages that we put on the bottles are designed for between 100 and 150 pound person. So if you're a 300 pound person, you can double it. If it's a 50 pound child, cut it in half. That's what I do personally.
Yay! About the liver regenerating in 7 days. Is that correct?
No, 6 months.
6 months.
I mean 6 weeks. 6 weeks for the liver to regenerate. Yeah, the liver turns over every 6 weeks because it's so high metabolically active, handling toxins. It's got to be turned over quickly. Other tissues in the body are very slow, like bones probably the slowest, or nervous tissue. It may take up to 7 years to completely get a new brain, but how many rather have one in 7 years than not get one at all?
Yeah. The liver is about 6 weeks, and then you said some other organs.
I said that the cells lining the stomach 3 to 5 days. That's probably one of the quickest areas because of the high acid there, and skin 28 to 45 days. All different tissues have different amounts, but in 1 year, 98% of you is turned over. That's good news, right? Especially if you've had some eating and health habits like I've had in the past. That's good news. I got hope for my next year. How about you?
This is a applicator. If someone has a blood clot in their leg, would they be safe to use the blood applicator? Would it help blood clot? Would it not?
No contraindication with blood clots of using the applicator. I don't think they would have any adverse effect whatsoever. Could even be beneficial. Probably no interaction.
Okay, my mom has lupus, and so I was wondering what products you would recommend for her. She's already pulled out all processed foods and dairy, but she's still having inflammation and skin issues, and of course, fatigue and everything like that? What would you recommend that I put her on?
Good question. Lupus, mixed connective tissue disease. If I don't know what 2 products to recommend, what am I going to recommend? If anyone needs balance to their immune system and detoxification of someone with lupus, lupus is really an autoimmune type picture. It's the own body's immune system is attacking itself. That's why I don't say fortify your immune system. Build your immune system and detoxify your body. I say balance, because people with lupus or certain arthritis or other MS and different kinds of pictures that are thyroiditis, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, are a picture of autoimmune, your own immune system being overactive. Asthma and allergies are a type of those as well. We want to bring balance. How do you bring balance? With proper nutrition. And what's the foundation? 2 products for proper nutrition. Vitamin B is very powerful. And you did mention allergies to foods, and always think in terms of that when there's an autoimmune picture. Just to tell you the sinister 7. Most common allergy-causing foods. Doesn't mean these are bad foods, but if you're allergic to them, then they're bad for you. And you can do a pulse test. It doesn't cost a bunch of money. Just have some on your nightstand, and you wake up in the morning before you move around, take your pulse, and then take some of the food you're testing, take it again. If it increases 10 points or more, 10 minutes later, 10 or 20 minutes later, you're mounting an immune response, and it's likely you're allergic to that product. And the number 1, by far and away, the biggest one, enough so that no matter what disease issue you're dealing with, just get off it, cow's milk. Next one would be yeast, which would be like grains and cookies and things like that. Wheat would be, wheat second actually, yeast third. And then eggs, corn, soy, sugar. Not that these are bad things, but if you're allergic to them, you need to get away from them. It's worth a try getting away for a while. Pulse test it and check it out, because sometimes that's the source of the problem. And you're trying to, you go to the doctor and they're going to go right by that, ignore that, and do a bunch of poisons with a desirable side effect and get you messed up worse, to be frank about it. Yeah.
When you're searching for a doctor, what would you recommend on questions to ask them to find one that is going to put you on things that are natural as opposed to prescription drugs or over-the-counter stuff? So you're
I wouldn't search, I'd just go directly to Dr. Don, get his book, take it with you everywhere you go. Really, I mean, it's not rocket science, but it's really good science, and it's foundational science, and doctors are ignoring not seeing the forest for the trees. As far as asking questions, just ask if they believe in natural alternatives and they use them. Because some say, yes, I believe in them, but if they aren't using them, they don't know anything about them. Get someone who's using them, who says they use them first before pharmaceuticals. That's my question. Do you use them before pharmaceuticals or after? Yeah.
Crohn's and IBS. I have 2, my sister and actually a distributor under me, and they've tried taking a little bit of greens, and usually it gives them, and they've tried the Profit. What do you suggest?
Crohn's and IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Almost always with Crohn's and IBS, there is a stress component. It's a huge stress. So believe it or not, I might start with Confianza there. But I would also consider regular. And you think, wow, IBS, if someone's having a really regular. Open up a regular capsule, take a 1/4 of it, and take it, and then see what happens. And the next day, try 2/4 of it, 3/4 of it. Just build yourself up on it. I've seen people with colitis and irritable bowel syndrome with a small amount of regular. Sometimes you only need a 1/4 of a capsule of regular a day, and if you do that, your bottle lasts 4 times as long. And you just feel sensitive anyway. So consider that. But what 2 products would I always recommend to start with the foundation for? Vitamin greens, Confianza regular, essentially. Next question.
I have a lot of customers that say, I can't put anything on my skin, I break out, no matter, even if I look at a product, I break out. So what would you say to those customers that always say, we call me S word, they're sensitive skin people?
Yeah, I would say just try it. And oftentimes, whether or not someone reacts to something is their mental state got a lot to it when they take it. People can get so stressed out, like you said, they look at it and react. Literally, you can get hives from just thinking about getting exposed to something. That's an important component. Don't push people to do anything they don't have peace about. I always recommend that. If you don't have peace, don't do it. Wait till you have peace. If you don't know if you have peace, you don't have it. Not tough, is it, Paul?
Hi, I have literally gone down to 63 pounds and as of 4.5 years ago.
Wow.
And I did use the owner's manual to get to where I am now.
Thank you, Jesus.
I have many showers with lupus and congestive heart failure, recently diagnosed with 2 kidney diseases, but
60 pounds?
63 pounds.
60
4.5 years ago.
That's
Actually, 5 years ago. And so, you really recognize now the skin and bones. I thank God for being where I am.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
can identify with being an ordained
Yes,
minister.
ma'am.
But the thing that I want to ask you is, I want to make sure that I maintain what God has given me because He has restored my body.
Yes, ma'am.
But I want to make sure that I have the right ingredients. I know I'm in the right place. The right ingredients to maintain, to glorify Him until I reach my 120 years.
Yes, ma'am. Well, what 2 products am I going to recommend for you? Vitamin greens. And then God-made foods. What 3 food categories will I recommend first and foremost?
Fruits and vegetables, whole grains.
God-made foods. What's the healthiest kind of white meat you can eat?